Med students often get flustered between DO and MD, don't know where to apply to, what the differences are. Sometimes there's stigma around one or the other. Sometimes people apply to both. But I'm here to tell you today what the different philosophies, what their differences are, so you know what to do and where to apply to. Hi, I'm Kartik Goswami, a second-year medical student working with MedLife Mastery. So MD school started in 1766 in New Jersey. So that was when the first professional degree for your medical degree, MD, was started. And since the 1800s, it's become a professional degree that people go to become certified to practice medicine. DO schools, on the other hand, started in 1874 with Dr. Andrew Taylor Still, who was an MD himself. So Dr. Still developed a whole body approach where the whole body was palpated, checked for problems, because his thought was that every system is connected to each other. And if one is diseased, it's going to affect all the rest. And he started that school in 1892, officially a DO school. Instead of medical degree, it was called Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. So during my application process, I had applied both to DO schools and MD schools, and I kind of got to see both application processes and what their differences and similarities are. The basics are that the 152 MD schools that are accredited are done by AMCAS. Now, this is where the AMCAS service provided by the AMC is where you log on, make your account, fill in the whole form. It was a big form, took me a couple of days, especially putting out your grades for every single class you've taken. That's probably the worst. Writing the essays was not as bad. Now, DO schools have a similar thing where they have AA commas. Similar thing, fill in your grades, your information, do a couple basic essays, and then you can apply to the 35 accredited DO schools. So AMCAS for MD schools, the application process usually opens on June 1st and continues till January of the next year. So for example, for this year, in 2023, it would open around June 1st and end in January 1st of 2024. Now, on the other hand, DO schools open again in June, but they would stay open till April of 2024. So a couple more months of leeway for DO schools. But my personal tip, and a tip from all applicants who have applied before, the earlier you apply, the higher the chance you have of getting it. So I would recommend you guys should apply in June, have your application ready, have the basic essays ready. You can find the basic essays for AA commas and AMCAS on Google. You can have them written out, previewed by your professors, edited out, perfectly done, ready to go. And then all you have to do is send the application in to the schools you want to apply to. Now, I will say both the AA commas and AMCAS do take a fee for processing. So the fee for AA commas is $198 for the general application, plus $50 per school that you're going to apply to. So if you're applying to like 5 different DO schools, you'll be paying $198 plus 50 times 5, another $250. For AMCAS, they also have a fee. Their flat fee is $170 for the general application, plus $40 per additional school. So again, another 5 schools would be $200 on top of the $170. If you have circumstances that allow you not to pay for the application processes, this is something you should consider. Please go to these websites, AA commas and AMCAS, and see if you can get your fees waived. Now, both of these application processes require CASPER or AMC Vita or other types of tests like this. These tests are done to test your personality and kind of get a glimpse at how you are and what type of physician you would be. These tests aren't anywhere as near as hard as the MCAT, and they should be done pretty fairly simply with like a couple of days worth of prep. So no need to worry about them, but just make sure that the schools you're applying to, whether they require them, whether they don't, which ones they require, make sure that's all done. On top of this, both DO and MD schools are starting to require a lot of shadowing. Not really a requirement, but it's a very heavily implied extracurricular that they want, especially DO schools. It's literally in their application and it says, have you shadowed a DO physician before? So this is something you should consider if you haven't already shadowed. With the upcoming application process in June and it being early in the year of 2023, you have plenty of time. Email out some physicians and go to see if you can shadow a DO or an MD. And if you cannot find someone to shadow in person, there are a lot of virtual shadowing programs that are going on since COVID, and that is something you can do to hopefully find some physician that you can shadow and write on your CV that you've shadowed someone. So not on top of this, MD and DO schools look at your extracurriculars a lot. So if you have healthcare related extracurriculars and other related extracurriculars just in general, please be sure to put this on the application. This is weighted pretty heavily after your grades and test scores and statements to see what you've done, what you're interested in, and kind of what type of person you'll be after you're a physician. So it's a good way of them seeing how you're going to end up being. So now we're getting to the nitty-gritty stuff. I know you guys have all been waiting for what test scores are for DO schools, what test scores are for MD schools. So I have the latest update on the stats. They do vary from website to website, but after researching a little bit, there are some exact numbers that I can give you. So the average MCAT score of an MD applicant is a 511.5, while an average MCAT score for a DO school is a 503.83. That is very exact, but these are averages of all applicants, so take that as you will. Does not guarantee you'll get in or won't get in. There's obviously a big variation. These are just means. The same with the GPA is about to tell you. DO school GPA is a 3.56, while an MD GPA is 3.73. From this, obviously you can tell MD schools are slightly harder to get in by test scores and grades, but that doesn't mean the quality of education is less. DO schools and MD schools are notoriously very similar in what they teach. If a DO physician decides to do osteopathic manipulative medicine, also known as OMM, then it'll be a slight difference. DO schools do a whole body approach, and they take into account the mind, the body, the spirit, everything in between. That is a whole philosophy in how they practice. That's what they are going for. That's what they want to treat. And they want to make sure that everything of the patient is cured and ready. So the patient does not come in with a similar problem, the same problem, or any problem again. That's their whole philosophy. While MDs are more focused on specific symptoms and treating those symptoms and focusing on traditional medicine treatments, DO schools are focused on alternative medicine and other complementing treatments on top of the traditional medicine. So there's always a stigma. DO physicians don't do real medicine, they do fake medicine, but they do this alternative medicine on top of traditional medicine. So there is similarities, but DO physicians go on top of that to do other differences as well, taking into more of a holistic way of treatment, not just for the whole body, but just in terms of what you're available to treat with. DO physicians use a more wide variety of treatment methods compared to MD physicians. DO students also have to take the COMLEX. So COMLEX is kind of like step one. It's very similar to step one actually. And if DO students want to apply to certain specialties such as surgery or any other dermatology and other specialties like that, they will also have to take step one for requiring residency places. Now, this isn't always mandatory. Students can just take COMLEX and get into residency, but vast majority of residency programs take step one. So it is well advised for DO students to keep the options open to take both COMLEX and step one, since COMLEX is mandatory to gain the DO degree, and step one will help give you those chances at every residency spot you've ever dreamed of. So I know we talked about how COMLEX and step one opens doors for almost everything, but there are some programs that limit only to MD schools, such as feeder schools. Let's take a big university and they have their own residency program. They might only take MD school students and not DO students. So this might hinder DO students' abilities to get into the residency programs that they wanted to. So be aware if you're going to DO schools and are thinking about it, sometimes your options for future residencies are more of a hassle. But if you're trying to look for primary care, internal medicine, pediatrics, more on a generic spectrum, DO schools, you will have no problem whatsoever in getting into any of those programs. Now, if you're looking at more surgical specialties and stuff like that, even after taking step one, you might have a little bit of trouble getting into residency, but it's not that much of a difference. Sure, like 90% of the MDs will match into their required specialty, while a tad bit lower percentage of DO will match in, but all in all, you should be able to match into what you want as long as you do well on these tests. And now with these tests being pass-fail, you should be fine. Just do well on your step twos and your other COMLEX tests, and make sure you can get through, do your best, and you'll get a place wherever you're best fitted. Ultimately, a DO versus MD, it's a choice up to you. What you prefer, what you want out of your medical education, what you want to do with your medical education, what type of physician you want to be. It's all up to you. If you can, apply to both DO and MD. Keep your options open, see what type of schools you get into, and then you can decide where to go. If you can't, hopefully this video has helped you decide or helped you learn more about both DO and MD schools, and hopefully you can make a decision on where you want to put your hard-earned money to, where you want to put your time and sacrifice towards, and what type of school you want. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. MedLife Mastery is offering lots of new content and lots of new programs. Go visit our website if you guys are interested, and we'll be posting more content like this for you guys. Please take care of yourself and good luck on your application.